Alright, this is a comparison between the D21 and the D28. This is the D28, you can tell because it has white binding right here. This is the D21, and you can tell because it has black binding over here. The 21 looks a lot like a D18. If you don't know what to look for, the way to tell it from D18 is because it has two sets of double finger dots right here. So a D18 would only have one set of double dots right here. The 21 has two, a set here at the 12th and a set here. So if you see double dots like that, you know you've got a 21. But the 21 is also rosewood back and sides. And the main difference between the two guitars is that the 28 has white binding, which is a big deal. But it has an ebony fingerboard. We'll put the 21 down here. It has an ebony fingerboard, an ebony bridge, and it has the big Rhodomatic tuners on it. Both of these guitars are 1965 models, and they are about 500 apart on the serial number. So this is pretty close comparison here. Both guitars are stock. They both have a good neck reset. They both have fresh frets. I just put frets on this one. I did a bone knot, a bone saddle. I put Antique Acoustics bridge pins in it, but that's it. It's stock otherwise. The 21 is the same deal. It's stock. It's got Antique Acoustics. It's got ebony bridge pins in it right now. Ebony bridge pins. It has a good neck angle, good frets. It has my bone nut on it. For tuners, it has the stock Clouchons, which are quite a bit lighter. And so one of the big differences in the two guitars, first of all, is the weight. This guitar weighs 2,160 grams. 2,160 grams. The 21 over here weighs 1,980 grams. So that's quite a bit different. That's 200 grams difference in weight. And you feel it when you pick the guitar up. Where the weight is, or where it comes from, well, you know, they're both Brazilian rosewood. They're both scalloped the same. It's coming from the ebony. It's coming from the ebony bridge, the ebony fingerboard. It's also coming from the heavy tuners here. These tuners weigh like 6 to 8 ounces. I forgot the number. They weigh 50% more than the Clouchons do. And of course, you've got this at the end of a 2-foot stick, you know. So it's got some leverage on it, and you feel the weight. You feel the whole weight of a D28. It's a heavy guitar compared to a 21 and an 18. Consequently, I think that affects the sound. You know, the mass is going to make a difference in the sound. You listen to the sound yourself and see what you think about it. I'm not going to bias you, you know, too much on it. I think you'll be able to pretty clearly hear the differences. But I get questions all the time about how does a 21 sound different from an 18. Does the fingerboard really make any difference at all? Does the bridge make any difference? Well, here's two guitars that are both Brazilian rosewood, Sitka spruce top, straight braced. They both have the same neck. They have neck truss rod is what I'm trying to say. Neck reinforcement thing. They both have a square tube in this case. The 28 has a volute on the back of the neck here. The 18 has the non-volute, and the 21 has the 18 non-volute neck. That doesn't add anything to the weight, but it does change the feel of the neck just a little bit right here. The 28 is a little bit thicker, a little bit more of an even taper. The 21 kind of tapers off a little bit more. Here's a little bit slimmer down in the first couple frets. But this is about as good of a comparison as you're ever going to get between the effects of the fingerboard. How is a 21 different from a 28? So you listen and see. So you've got the fingerboard, the bridge, and the tuners. I like to think that everything makes a difference on a guitar, but I'm really not sure that white binding versus black binding makes a difference. I'm not too positive on that, huh? This one has Antique Acoustics hard plastic bridge pins. The 21 has ebony. The ebony, for a fact, is going to tend to tone the treble down just a little bit, which is why I have it on the 21, because the 21 is kind of a bright guitar. So that's a very small difference, and I don't think that's going to make much difference, you know, just much difference. So. Okay, so I thought that was a cool comparison to be able to do 265s, 21, 28, Brazilian rosewood on both of them. We can compare the rosewood a little bit here. You know, it's hard to get the light glare off of this thing. I'm not in a professional studio or anything, but let's see what we can do here. Here's the 21, it's Brazilian. And this is really nice Brazilian. I've seen some pretty slab cut stuff, but I've seen on the 28s too. Here's the Brazilian on the 28 on the sides. Okay. Coming down to the headstock here. And there you go.